Hey you guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is Tales from a Scorpion, bringing you Scorpio Talks. In today's video, we are talking about the 2025 BET Awards. Don't go anywhere, stick around, and let's dive into it. And as always, if you're returning, thank you so much for your continued support. If you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of my content as I upload on a weekly basis. Don't forget to like, share, and drop a comment down in the comment section, and let's get active. You guys, I enjoy BET. I enjoy looking at it, even back in the early 2000s when it first emerged. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you all can correct me, but I think Steve Harvey was one of the ones, and maybe Cedric was the few that hosted the first ones. I don't know. I got to look it up and see, but I believe that they were the ones that hosted the first, or one of the first, BET Awards ceremonies. And I enjoy looking at it. But as I started to grow older, because back in 2000, remember, I'm 48. I was probably in my early 20s. I used to enjoy looking at BET. I think maybe my son was probably about 1 or 2 years old. But as I started to grow older and evolve, I kind of left BET to the sideline. And as my children start to grow older, they were picking up where I was leaving off. Like, you have to kind of evolve, but if you are that die-hard fan of rap and R&B and what have you, you're going to stay locked in with BET and all of Black entertainment culture. But as my kids started to grow and get involved in music and things of that nature, they picked up on BET where I left off. They would say, "Mom, come and watch BET." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to watch that." Not that I didn't like it anymore. It's just that it wasn't my cup of tea. But I had to get in on this BET recap. I had to give you my 2 cents on this recap because I heard that it was a phenomenal show. I heard it was very, very good. So I sat down yesterday and I clicked on the BET Awards so that I could watch it and see what all the fuss was about, and to see some of my iconic stars that I grew up with. I was born in the 70s, and with rap emerging and starting back in New York, where I'm originally from, it started up north, and it was around in the 70s. So, as I grew up in the 80s, I started picking up some of the rap and listening to Salt and Pepper and all the famous, all of my artists back in my era. So this is what we're going to dive into. And as I was looking at BET, I began to get a little sad because I was thinking about, who are we going to listen to when we're in our 60s? Who are going to be some of our R&B artists that are around our age that we can connect with and listen to? Majority of the people that we listened to growing up have passed on, and that is kind of sad. Like, all of my great, great, great soulful artists are gone, like Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, Prince, Barry White. All of them are gone that were close in proximity to my age range. Now with my mom, she had the Patti LaBelle and the Aretha Franklin, Tina Turner, Stevie Wonder, Little Richard. So those were her artists that she listened to as she was getting older. But I kind of sat back and was listening to all the people that was coming out, and I'm like, who the hell are we going to listen to? Are we going to be letting it cook, like, with Glorilla? Like, what are we going to be listening to? Are we gin and juicing with Snoop Dogg? I mean, I don't know. The 2025 BET Awards was full of iconic moments, legendary tributes, and unforgettable performances. But let's talk real. As someone in my 40s and up, I couldn't help but notice a bittersweet reality. Like, where are some of the timeless R&B vocalists for our generation at my age? So, with the loss of musical legends, I feel as though we are left with just rap and club bangers. And the sad truth is that these new artists like Glorilla, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, um, just to name a few, the ones that are on top of my head right now, they don't speak to our soul the way the older music used to back in the day. You know, I'm vibing with them. I love me some Glorilla, okay? And I'm 48 and I love me some Glorilla, but she's not older than me. I'm older than her and I'm listening to her music. Not that it's bad music, but where is our soulful music that we used to, that we grew up on? You know, sad to say, R. Kelly, he's behind bars. He's not making no music, but as soon as he's released, he probably will. And guess what? We're all going to go running because we loved ourselves some R. Kelly. You know, I can name drop some artists that I grew up on. You know, we can start with Salt and Pepper, The Real Roxanne Shante, DJ Quick, you know, T.I., those artists, just to name a few. And it's sad that, you know, we're going to be listening to Megan Thee Stallion and, you know, Summer Walker and these much younger artists. You know, the only one right now that was on that stage that really touched my soul was Jennifer Hudson, because that girl can sing. I'm not here to talk deep on the BET Awards. Everyone that was on the red carpet, they looked lovely. They looked amazing. I enjoyed seeing all the artists. Kevin Hart, of course, was a phenomenal host. I love me some Kevin Hart. It's just that I was taken back on sitting there and listening to some of the artists sing and perform. And I got a little sad because I'm like, where are our soulful artists? Where are the artists that I grew up on? And then when they started coming out, I'm like, okay, here comes Snoop. You know, we know Snoop, we know Corrupt and all of this, but then you get even sadder because then you're like, I cannot be talking about no gin and juice in my 70s. And then, guys, Mariah Carey. Why did she look like Mannequin? The movie. Have y'all seen the movie Mannequin? What was wrong with Mariah Carey? I love me some Mariah Carey, but she act like she couldn't move. She was frozen. She was mechanical. She barely did any type of dancing. Everyone else was dancing around Mariah. Yeah, I grew up on Mariah, but she kind of disappointed me because I guess maybe she had too much surgery. And then there's this guy named Kai Cenat. I don't know that much about him. I learned of Kai through my kids. My older son, he's in his 20s, he's 24. And he was telling me about Kai Cenat. And then so as he was bouncing around and jumping around at the BET, let me see this person. Let me see. Why did he say why did he say Teddy Riley was Neo? Teddy Riley was Neo. He said, is that Neo? But he is in his 20s, so he didn't know no better. For those of you that are following me, and you probably are just as lost as I was on who Kai Cenat was, or Kai Cenat, sorry if I'm butchering your name, but he's this young YouTube sensation that has gained traction, that is very famous on YouTube. He even has Kevin Hart and a lot of other celebrities coming over to his home, and they're playing video games and what have you. And I think that Kevin Hart is in his 40s, but okay. So he has a lot of people coming over, and he's this big, huge sensation now, worth a couple of million, 14 million. I looked them up. And kudos to him. Gonna give him his flowers. However, Kai is not my cup of tea. He has this, first of all, he was just loud and he was just all over the place. And I think that was his young age showing. He was getting everybody's phone number, and I guess a lot of people know Kai, except I might have been the only one in this world who didn't know who Kai was, because I don't play video games and I'm not interested in the university that he has. Maybe the university is supposed to be something for YouTubers like myself who want to learn how to stream. I'm not sure, but they even had a lot of the celebrities trying to hook up with him and trying to get in with the university. They even had Kevin Gates asking, could he be a professor? A professor of what? Is he a streamer? I mean, I don't know. Kevin Gates, no. Mm-mm. You don't need to be a professor. Kai is a sensation, and he is famous in YouTube land and across the world. And I'm just now discovering him through BET Awards. I have looked at his channel. Still something that I'm not interested in. I don't think that I would, me personally, would be subscribing to Kai's channel, because I'm not a gamer. I don't know what else he offers, but his channel, he has gained attraction in the million subscribers based off what they like, and that's not my flavor, not my cup of tea. But still, hats off to him. He is killing it. He has made a name for himself, and kudos to Kai Cenat. I congratulate him and give him his flowers, as he should receive them. And with that said, Kai is killing it with the university. Everybody who is somebody wants to be a part of that university, except for me. And he is killing it with the Gen Z crowd. But the question still remains, and let's get back to why I'm here. The question is, are we headed into a future where there are no soulful singers for our generation, 40 and up, 35 and up? Whoever was in the generation era, in my era, the 70 babies. And are we headed to a future where there are no soulful singers? It kind of makes you ask, what happened to the balance? What happened to those Black love songs, storytelling, those voices that gave you chills? Now everything nowadays is about beats and bars. But let's keep it real. BET Awards made it clear that we are clinging to the past icons. One thing I did notice, that a lot of the crowd hype came back from throwback artists. They were the ones that were keeping the vibe alive. No shade, but it's telling you that the new stuff is not feeling the same. It's not giving that energy. So we have to bring and celebrate the older artists, because they had the phenomenal music back then. The younger artists, the newer music, yes, it's amazing. I love it. I listen to it, but it doesn't hit like the older generation. Now I'm up here thinking, I got to make my retirement playlist back from, 2003 or 1996 or something like that. That's going to be my playlist because we can't let it cook in my 60s because we don't connect. It doesn't mean that we don't love you all's music. You see that there's a big gap in what excites Gen Zs and what feeds Gen X's. So while the BET Awards was full of energy and excellence, it just left a question in the air for me. What does our future look like for Black entertainment?